guys, it's Wednesday, December 28th, and I'm here to show you around our garden. This in-ground bed right in front of us is just covered with some chemical-free straw mulch, and as you can see, it's starting to sprout. We got the same mulch last year, or straw last year, and we didn't have a problem with it sprouting, but this year it really has been. So definitely more weeding that needs to be done. This bed that's right over here has the same situation happening. I've been busy hanging out with family and friends for holidays, so we definitely need to get out in the garden. I need to do some weeding today. That is our lavender, which has done really well, even with the really cold temperatures. We had 3 nights that were in the teens and some days that didn't get above freezing, which is really rare for Texas, and that lavender wasn't covered at all and has done really well. The oregano that's right next to it did get a little bit of frost damage. You can see spots where it's like a darker brown or black even, and that's just frost damage that it has. There's lots of leaves as well that have fallen. We need to pick up because they're kind of acting as a mulch, which is great for our plants, but we want to make sure they're not suffocating any of them at the same time. We had garlic in this bed, which is doing well. It had already sprouted because our fall was so warm. But I think it'll do just fine. It handles freezing temperatures really well. We have some spinach that did great as well, and you can see right there kind of the burn on the Brussel sprout leaves. So these have had a really tough time with summer getting eaten by pests, and then with the frost damage that it got last week or the week before. So we're just gonna kind of let these keep going and see how they do. They do have some Brussels sprouts forming, but they're not really full, and we just thought it would be worth it to kind of see how they do. This bed also has some cilantro, which was covered because of the bed next door to it. It has frost cloth that's large enough to drape over to about a 1x8 section of this bed. So just kind of what I'm showing you right here, which has some cilantro in it, and that cilantro is just doing awesome. It looks beautiful and seemed to handle the freezing temperatures really well, which was really exciting and great to know here in Texas, because this was my second winter to garden throughout. This bed over here with the hoops that was covered has collard greens that have done really well. It has some broccoli. You can see the leaves have some damage on them, but we have some that are still forming heads and continuing to grow, which is great. We also have mustard greens that got some damage and were pretty frozen after the cold temperatures, but have really bounced back and will be something we can still enjoy eating. We've got some kale that's doing really well also, and what did not do well in this bed, which didn't survive despite being covered, was our Swiss chard. So you can see right here that the leaves were just burnt and the plants are dying back. There's another one. So that was disappointing, but good to know for us that despite being covered, the Swiss chard couldn't handle it. This bed right here was covered as well. It had a little section that got some air in. You can see the biggest damage is right here with this arugula. We have an Astro variety, and it just did not make it through the cold temperatures at all. We also have some cabbage that didn't make it, and some cauliflower that did not make it. What is doing well still is the few leeks that we have, the spinach that we have, even some smaller spinach that is just starting to germinate is still doing really well despite the cold temperatures. And we have a lot of cilantro from when we let our cilantro last season go to seed. So this is all just volunteer cilantro that wasn't planted, and it's doing really well. We have sage in this bed as well that's been here for about 3 years. I pruned it back pretty heavily before winter this year, and it looks like it has a little damage, but we'll see how it does overall. We also have oregano that, despite being covered, has some frost damage. So both the oregano that was uncovered and covered seem to do about the same. Our last bed that has the hoops to be covered from the frost has some rosemary in it that did really well, some bok choy that survived the temperatures really well despite what I thought its frost tolerance was. It's definitely getting eaten by something now that we have warmer weather, so I'm going to have to find that. But the cold temperatures were something it handled really well. And then we have a blue curled kale. I think the curled varieties tend to do better and be more tolerant of frost. These have done great, even some that we had had that weren't covered are doing really well. We also had some carrots right here that were just carrot seeds that were just starting to sprout, and I wasn't sure with the frost, with them being so young, how they would do, but they've continued to grow. I just need to thin them out, so that was great to see. More oregano. And in this final bed right here, we don't have any hoops, but I had a 1x8 frost cloth that I used to cover just this last section right here that has the lettuce in it. And this is a real tender lettuce, an outrageous variety, which was the first grown in space, and it's doing really well. The leaves are real tender and it handled the frost really well. This is a section where we had a chef's blend, so there are some varieties you can see that didn't make it, and then some varieties that did really well. Lettuce has such a large variety of different tolerance of frost and of heat, so it was fun to kind of see in that mix what did well and what didn't do well. There's just 2 of the blue curled kale varieties in this bed, and both of them did really well and are still looking good despite those cold temperatures without any frost cloth over them. So this is our garden and what we have growing for December. I hope that you enjoyed the tour, and as always, please post a video because I would love to see what's growing in your yard.